I'm here with Marc from the BBC Academy. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I'm calming down after doing that little thing just earlier.
Yes, you are the app meister. Can I just say that for now? So obviously digital journalism is expanding, but please, could you just give us a definition of what you think digital journalism is?
Digital journalism, mobile journalism, is being able to create content that previously would have been done with a much larger device like the camera to my right here, which not everyone has access to. It would be great to have a broadcast camera or an audio recorder or a satellite truck or a radio car with you all the time, and that's not possible. Whereas the phone you've got in your pocket can do things which for many people is going to be good enough. And without being too critical about social media, the quality may not need to be absolutely 100%. And with a phone, you're going to get very close. And when it's looked on a screen that's very small, it doesn't have to be absolutely great if it is, but it doesn't have to be absolutely pin sharp. So knowing how to use a device in your pocket is the mobile journalism kind of ethos.
Yeah, and that's the way we're going forward constantly. Especially in 2020, it's supposed to be that 5G's in place, and already mobile is dominating many audiences. What 5 top apps you think that a broadcast journalist should use?
5 top apps that any journalist ought to use. Okay, so in terms of video filming, there's a really good app called Filmic Pro, which will work on most Android and all iPhones, he says guardedly, but Filmic Pro will work on Android and iOS. In terms of editing, there's a very good editing app called KineMaster, which is Kine Master, which does work on Android and on iOS. There's another very good app for editing video, which is called LumaFusion, but that's only on iOS. In terms of audio recording, so if someone wants to make a radio piece or a podcast, obviously podcasts are hugely popular these days, then there's an amazing app called Ferrite. Now, for those 3 I've just mentioned, you probably end up spending a fair bit of money, £20-25, but compared to the cost of buying Final Cut Pro or Adobe Audition on a computer, it is actually much cheaper. In terms of photographs, and there are a couple of great apps, one called Camera Plus, another called Pro Camera. Again, the apps that come pre-installed on the phone are pretty good, but to take things further and to have more control and more professional features, then you're going to have to spend a bit of money.
Yeah. And what would you say your key top tips are for engaging an audience?
I suppose working out who your audience is, what they're interested in, and feeding that to them. The phone is something that you have with you all the time. So if you can gather the content that's going to be interesting and engaging to your audience, I mean, ultimately though, the phone is just a tool. It's a way of getting the content. Whether it's with a big camera or a phone, you've got to have a good story to tell in the first place. So the phone's a great tool to have with you all the time, but you've got to make sure that the content you're recording is engaging and interesting. Otherwise, your audience won't stay with you.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you.